tell you, this is just not a simple case of I am lonely. It is more than that. It is extreme self-isolation. And if you want to know how to claim your social well-being back and you've been through that phase, or you are currently going through that phase where you are isolating yourself but you are ready to take the action to step out of your comfort zone and be open to new connections, then keep watching. In this video, not only am I going to share some valuable tips that is going to help claim your social well-being back, but also I'm going to share some valuable lessons and insights from my own personal journey as well. Now, let me know down below in the comments if you relate to this situation or you're currently resonating with this right now, okay? So, for a long time, I protected my peace. But for some reason, protecting my peace turned into me being lonely and me isolating myself extremely. But then now you're at a point where you're like, I can't keep doing this anymore. I actually need to get out of my own shell for the sake of my own mental well-being and my social well-being. But at the same time, you also want to protect your peace. So for me, I think it all really started out by me just wanting to protect my peace because I was so fed up with dealing with toxic people. And you know what? I think I just kind of wanted to make up time for being so burnt out and being used by toxic people around me, where I'm just like, you know what, I'm so fed up. And despite having those events making me subconsciously close off to people, I am very grateful for dealing with those situations because it made me really selective of who to choose into my circle. And I've carried that learning lesson to this day. I think how it all started out was when I was 19 and I got into work right away and I had my own business as a personal trainer. And like, yeah, even though I didn't have any friends, I would still make new connections and I would like make friends through like co-workers, but still I would just keep them under the same category as acquaintances because, you know, I think I just had that scarcity mindset and I was kind of just protecting myself from being hurt. And yeah, even though I had a lot of great moments and I built a lot of genuine connections, it still didn't 100% align with me. Like, I didn't want to associate work with also friends. I wanted like friends outside of that, but I was just struggling to find those friends. I guess so fast forward from there when the pandemic hit, because I'm naturally an introvert, I think I consider myself an introvert and extrovert, but more on the introvert side. The lockdown really brought out my introverted side even more, like very extremely. To be honest, I struggled making new connections because I feel like it really impacted my social well-being and I was really awkward with my social skills. And it's crazy because I feel like I didn't have much people to talk to about this when it came to the after effects of COVID, because I kind of got embarrassed about the fact that it really severely impacted my social well-being. And as I chose to isolate myself, I just had this victim mindset of I can never find friends, no one wants to be friends with me, and all I wanted to do was just protect my peace because I was just done with toxic situations and I was just done with people who would always constantly gossip and they just don't have common sense when it comes to keeping secrets. But I think what really clicked and made me decide to actually start also putting my social well-being as a priority as well was that I was reading this book by Jay Shetty, and you know, it made me feel like I really just wanted to start living life again, because he was basically saying that, you know, when you go on holiday, right, and that time is only temporary. So he was kind of saying that we should also treat living on earth as if we're in a hotel. You know, we only have this limited amount of time, so why not make the most of it? And honestly, it was only just maybe 2 years ago when I decided I wanted to kind of get to know myself again and actually put in that quality time. Because when I was isolating myself, I thought, oh, like self-alone time should equate to quality time, when it didn't. So when I actually started to put in quality time into myself, like put effort into how I look and how I present myself to the world and actually take myself out on dates and treat myself, that's when I really started healing. And just doing like inner child work again just made me heal something, a part of me that I thought didn't need healing, but it did. There's this other quote that I found in a book, but basically there was like a page dedicated to talking to your inner child. Because basically when you read it, it's like your inner child talking to you, like saying, you know, why won't you take me out anymore? Like, I need some sun, I want to go play outside. And when I read that, I was just like, oh my gosh, it really spoke to my inner child and made me realize that I really need to start living life again. And that's why 2 years ago I decided, you know what, I really want to take my life back. I want to completely transform myself and become unrecognizable, and I want to be able to actually thrive. So here I am today. I'm actually making new connections. I recently met up with so many girls online, and actually guys, I made a TikTok, okay? I was saying how I'm 25 and I don't have friends.
You know, I have
and I was asking people, is that embarrassing? And you know what, it's crazy, even though that you are aware that people also go through the same thing as you, but sometimes when you put it online and you see so many people resonating with the same thing, you actually underestimate how many people in the whole wide world actually feel the same way as you.
You guys think this is really embarrassing to admit, but I literally have no friends. Like, I don't have any friends. But yeah, I feel like I protected my peace way too much, and I know it got to the point where I isolated myself and became really unhealthy. But I'm at a point now where I've been healing myself for a long time, for a while now, and I've been able to get out of my comfort zone and meet new people. With that being said, like, I just feel like I can't find the right friends who like align to my values and have like common interests as me. Like, for me, like, when it comes to hanging out, I don't really like going to like the clubs or like drinking. I am more of like a cafe girly, talk about K-dramas type of vibe. And I'm also really big on personal development, and I enjoy like very deep talks over small talks. So if you're a girl in Sydney who wants to make friends, let me know, hit me up.
And I can't believe that video went viral. Like, I think 20,000 people saw that video. But it was like a bunch of people messaging me on Instagram and TikTok and saying like, hey, I actually resonate with this. Like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to like meet up? Do you want to be friends? And I was just like, whoa, like, what the heck? What is going on here? So yeah, when that video popped off, I got so many messages and I got really excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to meet everyone. But you know what? I reflected on it and I was like, you know what? Hold on. Let me take a step back. Okay, let's not meet everyone, but anyone. Let's also get to know them before I meet up with them too. Because at the end of the day, you also don't want to overwhelm yourself and give your energy too much to too many people. You know what I mean? And so because of that video, I had like 3 hangouts. I met up with these 2 girls individually, and then the third meeting was like a bunch of group of girls. It was like maybe like 7 girls. I was not expecting that big of a group, to be honest. I didn't want to feel overwhelmed. Like, I thought I was gonna start out with like a very tiny group, like maybe like 3 or 4, but like it ended up being 7. So yeah, I'm just seeing how things go. I'm still gonna meet new people, and you know what, I'm coming into this without the expectation of, oh, they need to be friends with me. It's more of just like, let's just see how this goes. And you know what, when I think about it, even though right now I'm at a place where I still haven't established solid friends, I'm okay with that. I still want to be able to protect my peace, but at least now my intention of protecting my peace is in a more healthy mindset approach. Because guess what, if I see anyone that is a red flag and I know that it's going to be toxic, I don't care, but I will cut you out of my life. I will do anything to protect my peace, and I am okay with that. And if there's no red flags, but we just don't get along because our personalities don't click, then that is okay. That is completely okay. But let me tell you about the things that I did before even posting a video online about asking if people want to be friends. So in order for me to open up myself to new connections, I had to be able to value my alone time and actually learn how to enjoy to be in my own company. That meant a lot of solo dating, and also creating content really helped me feel less lonely as well, because it felt like I was talking to a friend. And you'll be surprised that when you actually just whip out a camera, and you don't even have to upload these videos online, or you don't have to even edit them, but even just whipping out a camera and talking to it, it feels like you're talking to a friend. But also it's very therapeutic as well. And so here are the things that I did to slowly build up my social skills and get into the groove of meeting new people and creating meaningful interactions. So I also got into really exploring my hobbies and learning new skills. For example, learning new languages and joining new communities. For example, language learning, dancing. And you know what, even though you still struggle to involve yourself in like face-to-face like communities or like new skills, you can still do that all online, because something is better than nothing. And what really helped me was when I did my life coaching course, and like I did Pilates online and yoga online, and then like other mini courses online here and there where it would involve some sort of social interaction. Speaking of learning new skills, I just recently renewed my first aid / CPR course. And doing that just made me kind of rekindle that joy of life again. It's kind of like knowing like, wow, I'm doing a course and learning a skill that is going to help me contribute to the community by saving a person's life and helping them cater to their health condition. And you know what's crazy? Every time I meet someone, and if I feel like we do click, they always think that I'm naturally an extrovert at first. But as they get to know me, like, joke's on you, I'm not an extrovert, okay? I'm an introvert. I just tricked you. But I also think this also translates into my content creation as well, because when people see my videos, they think I'll be like extroverted as well, but in reality I'm more like introverted in person. Speaking of creating valuable alone time, I also did like small activities that help heal my inner child. Like for example, I would go to like shops and like buy like magic sand or like paints or like mindful board games, stuff like that. It's just gonna help re-spark your imagination and that joy that you had when you were younger. And in a way, I feel like it somewhat rekindles that joy where you feel like you were kind of excited to go out there and make new connections as a kid. Now, there was a time before my healing stage, way back maybe like after, when I said, you know what, I actually want to get out there and make friends. I would kind of be low-key envious of like friend groups, or I would be like, oh, how do people like, you know, make friends? Then I realized over time that wasn't important and that I should be grateful, because you know what, even though I didn't have friends at that time, I realized that, you know what, I should be grateful right now that I'm not making friends right now, because my life is peaceful. And I realized that my past me once wished for this peaceful life. So even though it's known right now to the world that I posted on social media that I was looking for friends, at the end of the day, even though I can't find established friends at the end of this whole journey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having established friends, because at the end of the day, it took so much growth and so much learning lessons to get where I am today, to have that strong sense of self, and that at the end of the day, it's just me, myself, and I. And so I think that's why it's so important that even though you're on a lookout to meet new connections and maybe hopefully find new friends, that if you feel like at the end of the day you don't end up with friends, then you have to be okay with that. And how you can become okay with that is being able to spend that quality time with yourself, getting to know yourself, and leveling up and living up your mindset. Which kind of leads me to my next point, and that's why if you're naturally an introvert and you are trying to make new friends, be clear on your standards. So if you feel like you're someone who needs extra time to charge, be clear about that. Like maybe if you don't want, you don't have to tell them, but you could just at least maybe space out your schedule where you feel like it's enough time for you to energetically recover and then meet the next person. You know, you want to be able to set that standard time, being able to understand that I need the extra time to kind of charge to start meeting new people again. When you meet these new people, you do not need to come off as desperate. You don't need to people please, and you don't need to get them to like you. Many years ago, I knew I was naturally an introvert, but because I always thought that extroverted people come off as confident, I thought I had to be extroverted and loud as well. So because of that, I would always people please and try my best to make people like me. But that would only attract the wrong type of people who I didn't 100% align with. And who the fuck wants that when you can just be yourself? When I realized that over time, and to this day, when I meet new people now, I don't have the expectation of feeling like, oh, they need to like me. I literally just sit back and relax and observe. So for me, I'm naturally quite reserved and more introverted. So when I do meet new people now, I don't feel the need to be loud. I now can kind of just relax, observe, and be quiet, and just to see, you know, how the vibe is going. And I can just unapologetically be my introverted self without feeling like, oh, they're gonna think I'm weird because like I'm very shy, quiet, and introverted. When really, if you're introverted, you can also come off as confident as well. So because I've been able to accept that, I feel like naturally my confidence just shines naturally now. I think when going on this whole healing journey of being able to find yourself and spend quality time yourself while also like, you know, finding new connections and meeting new people, and you also kind of have to reflect on the events and people who have shaped you, who you are today, because they kind of do impact your limiting beliefs and how you approach certain events and people. I think I remember the moment I knew I was losing friends was maybe after I finished school, and the people who I hung out with, I would still hang out with after, but gradually over time, I started to think that I was a problem because they were no longer inviting me to events, and I just felt like maybe I'm not like social enough, or I feel like, oh, I'm not taking the traditional route where I'm going to like university or anything like that. I'm just, you know, going in with my own business and I'm just hustling. So I thought something was wrong with me. Or am I not sociable enough anymore? Am I not fun enough anymore? I realized that wasn't the case. Like I wasn't the problem at all. It's because I was growing and I was transitioning into a different chapter of my life. But either way, when I think about it, like just going back to when I was younger, I've always kind of been that loner, but at the same time, I've been able to also be like sociable with people at the same time. But there was like so many other moments where I also liked that I was alone. Like I remember when there was like field trips or like excursions where we had to go to, and even though my friends were on the other seats, I sometimes chose to just sit by myself and be in solitude, and I felt like I was okay with that. Another thing that I would also recommend doing as well, going into this with a fresh new start, clear out your following list. Because when you do that, honestly, you're going to feel fresh and brand new. And also, in a way, you're going to make room for more meaningful connections. Because no, they do not get access to you anymore, okay? So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit a subscribe, give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!